Larsen Il Cannone Soloist are a very good string. But why are they a good string? Well, I'm going to talk about that in this video today because I've had the pleasure of playing this set of strings for quite some time now. Actually, I think it was maybe a few months ago that I tried these strings on for the very first time, and they have delivered. If you remember watching the first video, Larsen Strings was kind enough to send me the Il Cannone Gold and then the Il Cannone Soloist. But they warned me that the Il Cannone Gold, based on my playing style and based on my instrument, that the Gold may not be the best fit for my instrument. They said, try the Soloist. These are going to be based on the tension of the strings, based on what you do for playing, these are going to be the set for you. And boy, were they right. So I want to talk about these strings for a moment here. So the Soloist strings, there are two different types of Il Cannone violin strings. I am trying the Soloist and I'm purely reviewing the Soloist strings today. I'm not reviewing the other one because they are slightly different strings. But the Soloist strings, they sound great. And what's really impressive is that they've lasted this long. Like I've had these, as I said, for a few months, and they're not going false, and they are maintaining the same resonance and brilliance that that they sound like right out of the box. So that is what's really impressive. The thing that kind of irks me with violin strings is that they sound really good out of the box sometimes, but then because of the amount of playing that you do, they don't last as long, and you can finally start hearing that the pitch kind of goes up a little bit when you play a string. That's kind of when you know when the string is actually on its way out. But when you play an A, you don't hear the pitch kind of going up. You're kind of hearing the stabilization of the string. These strings are really nice. Now, I will say this, that the one string that I did change is the E string. E strings are known for not lasting that long, but I only changed the E string once, and even then it was still able to blend really nicely with the other strings. Now, what I like about these strings, for one, it's their durability for the price. The price is, as of this recording of this video, is $99 US. And that's for a whole set of strings. Something in comparison to that price is probably the Dominant Pros. That's like a medium tension string that is, that came out of the market maybe a couple of years ago. Larsen Soloist strings fit into that category. So if you're looking for a dominant, but you want something a little better, you want something right under that $100 mark, the Larsen strings is trying to kind of compete in that price range. Something that I've noticed with my strings with the Larsen is that they are really durable. The word I'm thinking about is that they're flexible. They're really flexible. I remember playing this a long time ago, and they are really flexible in all sorts of different situations. For instance, chamber music, and I just played 10 shows of Roger Hammerstein's Cinderella musicals. So they were really flexible in blending with the pit. And they were also, when I was able to play that solo in the musical, they were just nice and projecting. So that's what I like about these strings, because they are able to give you what you want right away. There are some downfalls. I mean, it's not all flowers and butterflies with these strings. I'm going to get to that in a moment, what I'm noticing. But those are generally my thoughts on these strings. They work well. If you want a reliable string that you can depend on, these are your strings. And they will last you a while, because Larsen string, not only do they last a long time, but they can last you even longer based on the formula that they have with the string. On Larsen's website, you can actually find the cleaning routine on how to clean the violin strings. And if you do that properly, I think it's 90% alcohol that you just wipe the strings. But they are really specific on how to release the tension of the string. So I'll leave a link down in the description below for you to take a look at. You can click on it, and then it'll give you a whole how-to with cleaning of the strings with the 90% alcohol. So they will last you quite some time. And that was the reason why I liked the Il Cannone Gold so much, because for that price, you are pretty much having a set of strings for an entire year if you keep up with maintenance on those strings. This is not going to last you a full year, but it definitely lasted me for 4 to 5 months already in the later half of this year. I don't plan on changing them out anytime soon. That is a thing. They maintain the resonance of their string like right out of the box. So that's really nice. Now, how do they sound right now? Well, let me give you an example. So you can hear that the strings are brilliant and they're focused, but they have a little bit of that warmth, which is rare to have a brilliant, warm type of sound. You want something like in chamber music, you want something that pierces through but something that can blend. So if you're looking for an all-around string, this is a really good all-around string. It doesn't shine in one specific area. If you wanted to do one thing, it can. If you want to do something else with the string, it can. So it's a string of many possibilities. Here's the downside though. The downside is like when you're playing harmonics, especially artificial harmonics, like when you're playing, that's when you can start hearing a little bit of the decay in the string. So if you're not really doing a lot of harmonic with like artificial harmonics, specifically like solo repertoire, then you might want to consider changing out the strings every 3 or 4 months. But if you're not doing any of that, you're good. Like, right here, I really have to use a lot more right hand technique to get the note to speak. So I'm really kind of working hard there to make sure the violin speaks clearly. Partially it's the rosin, partially it's the tension of the hair. Sometimes it could be even myself. So I'm not saying that the strings are 100% to blame, because I'm human and I'm prone to mistakes as well. But that's a general observation from what I've noticed in the strings. So let me know in your comments below, how do these violin strings sound in this setting a few months later? I'm going to leave a link from the previous video down in the description below, so that way you kind of get a comparison on how they sound. Here you go, one last time.